Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farah Nadira binti Azman from class B8272 2B. Today I would like to present about the Salient Shariah issues in the contemporary application from Musharakah. What is Musharakah? Musharakah is when two or more people collaborate by investing money in their business and equally dividing the profit or loss. As for the example, a bank and a business owner invest money together to start a business. If the business earns profit, that means they both can share the profit. But if there is a loss, they will have to bear the loss together based on their contribution. There are two types of musharakah, which are shirkah al-milk, where two or more people jointly own an asset or property together that consists of shirkah ikhtiyari. Shirkah ikhtiyari is voluntary ownership where it happens by choice, and shirkah jabr, which is involuntary ownership where it happens automatically without choice, such as inherited property from parents. Next, shirkah al-akad, which is contractual partnership where two or more people agree to work together in a business through contract or agreement that consists of partnership in capital, shirkah al-amwal, where two or more people contribute money to start a business and share profit and losses together. Partnership in labor or skill, which is shirkah al-amal, is a partnership where two or more people work together by using their skills or services instead of money. And next, partnership in goodwill or credit, which is shirkah al-wujuh, where two or more people use their reputation, trust or good business name to do business without using their own money. Next, the characteristics of musharakah are joint capital contribution, where all partners contribute money, assets or resources together to run a business. Next is profit sharing based on mutual agreement, where all partners agree on how to divide the profit before starting the business. Shariah compliance also one of the characteristics of musharakah, where the business or financing follow Islamic rules and principles. Lastly, participation in management, where all partners can take part in managing and making decisions for the business. As for the first issue is high-risk perception. The article presents the point that because profits and returns are unclear, Musharakah finance is considered as riskier than other Islamic financing methods like murabahah or ijarah. Islamic banks also make all the risks of business losses since Musharakah corresponds to a profit and loss sharing concept. And the solution for the first issue is the Islamic banks should improve their due diligence and risk assessment procedures prior to authorizing Musharakah finances. Before engaging into partnership agreements, banks must thoroughly assess the entrepreneur's managerial skills, market conditions, company sustainability, and financial capacity. The possibility of business failure and financial losses can be decreased by carrying out appropriate background checks and feasibility studies. Next, for the second issue is principal to agent problem. In Musharakah, the principal to agent problem arises when the business owner has more information than the Islamic bank and may abuse this advantage by hiding facts, overstating costs, or underreporting revenues. This leads to information asymmetry and could have an impact on parties' fair profit sharing. And the solution of this issue is Islamic banks should create specific governance frameworks and contractual agreements, responsibilities, reporting requirements, agreements for profit sharing, dispute resolution methods, and penalties for dishonest behavior must all be clearly stated in detail in the agreement. A contract that is written effectively helps prevent miscommunication and protects each party interests. Lastly, regulatory and capital burden. Banks in Musharakah face high financial risk and are required to follow strict guidelines, which leads to regulatory and capital issue. Because Musharakah involves profit and loss sharing, banks must maintain larger capital reserves and comply to strict reporting and monitoring regulations. Due to this, banks favor less risky financing options like murabahah, making Musharakah more expensive, and the solution is to increase operational effectiveness and legal clarity. Regulators should create consistent and clear Musharakah regulatory frameworks to reduce implementation uncertainty. Regulatory agencies might establish specific recommendations on profit sharing scheme, risk management, dispute settlement, and accounting treatment. Islamic financial institutions would be able to handle Musharakah financing more efficiently and reliably with the aid of standardized frameworks. One of the causes of Musharakah issues is high-risk perception. This happens because profits and returns in Musharakah are uncertain and there is no guaranteed income. If the business fails, bank may also face capital loss. Therefore, Islamic banks see Musharakah as a higher risk financial method. Secondly, there is the principal to agent problem. This happens when the entrepreneur has more business information than the bank. Because of the limited transparency and less bank involvement in daily operations, there is a risk that profits or expenses may not be reported honestly. Lastly, Musharakah also faces regulatory and capital burden issue. Banks must follow strict banking regulation and keep higher capital reserve because Musharakah involves higher financial risk. This increases compliance and management costs for banks. The first impact is that banks become more reluctant to use Musharakah financing because it is considered risky. Since profits are uncertain and losses are shared, banks prefer safer financing methods. As a result, the use of Musharakah becomes lower. The second impact is unfair profit sharing between banks and entrepreneurs. This issue carries distrust because the entrepreneur may not fully share business information. It may also lead to misunderstanding or financial disputes. The last impact is higher costs for banks. Since Musharakah requires strict regulation and higher capital reserve, banks need to spend more money on compliance and risk management. Because of this, many banks avoid using Musharakah financing. To sum up, Musharakah is an Islamic financial strategy that relies on collaboration and profit sharing, but it has problems including high risk, a lack of transparency, expensive monitoring, and strict rules. These issues arise because Musharakah needs careful observation, company information is not completely disclosed, and earnings are unclear. Because of this, a lot of Islamic banks favor self-first financing options over Musharakah. Thus, to enhance the application of Musharakah in Islamic finance, greater oversight, openness, and regulatory assistance are required. That's all from me. Thank you for everything.